which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures He chose us to be high. To Him we belong, to Him is our return. Life in this world is only a sojourn. To the angels He commanded that man be respected. Shaitan he did not, and so was he rejected. Compared to the angels, we are but clay. As long as Allah we obey, we'll not go astray.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, welcome to the second season of our program, Islamic Law Today. Islamic Law Today is a live program that comes to you from Huda TV's headquarters every single Monday night, every single Saturday night, I apologize for that. And what we talk about are subjects that are relevant to the Muslim Ummah. Every single week we take a topic that is relevant to our daily lives as Muslims living in the West. And we talk about it, and we try to see what Islam says about this topic in a deeper way. Not simply in a program that says that this is halal or this is haram, but actually going and delving deeper into the Muslim issues that affect us as Muslims living in the West, inshallah. And joining me today is Dr. Muhammad Saie, who inshallah will be talking to us about many issues in this program every Saturday night, inshallah. Dr. Muhammad Saie is a professor of Islamic law and sciences at various American universities. He's also a permanent member of the Fatwa Committee of AMJA, the Assembly of Muslim Jurists of North America. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Doctor, before we go into the topic that we want to talk about today, would like you to shed some light about the ongoing situation of the Muslim Ummah and the everyday issues that we deal with.
Yes, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wa salamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa ba'd. We are very concerned about what is going on in different places in this Muslim world, especially what is going on in Syria, in Yemen, still going on in Libya, and it's still going on even in Egypt. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make these places the best places for not just the Muslims, for the whole mankind. We believe that these kind of revolutions, this kind of movement took a place in many countries. It did happen suddenly, without maybe deep preparation, for many wisdoms, for many reasons, regardless of what is the reason behind this, what did cause this movement to start or this revolution to take a place. We are very concerned about these mass killings, torturing, going on everywhere between Muslims and government. And I'm just calling upon every Muslim everywhere in this world. I'm sending my message to Muslims in Africa, Muslims in Europe, Muslims in the United States of America, Muslims everywhere, that we should share our Muslim brothers and sisters, their concern. We should not just be those who they are disregarding what is going on around them and getting ourselves busy with some other issues. If we're talking about Islamic law today, as we always used to say, that the main purpose of these programs to renew, to revive this Islam and this deen through our beautiful understanding to the Sahaba radiallahu anhum for this Islam, and to activate this understanding in our daily life. We should not separate between fiqh or Islamic law or maybe Islamic issues and what is going on in reality in a Muslim's world. From that regard, inshallah ta'ala, I'm asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this special moment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send His mercy and relieve all Muslims everywhere and guide all Muslims to the right path of Him, the straight path of Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. Give the energy and give the trust, give the believe that this Muslim Ummah is able to change from maybe worse, or from bad to good, from good to better, inshallah Azza wa Jal. This is original belief in our Islam, that always we are seeking for the best, inshallah ta'ala. And this may be very quickly the one of the meaning of the saying of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Always this our philosophy. If you are in that status, in that procedures, in that progress, in this situation, always you are seeking for the best. You'd like to be in the Firdaus al-A'la, as the Prophet requesting us to ask Allah, Is'alul Firdaus al-A'la, demand al-Firdaus al-A'la, even if you are not in your work, in your deeds, maybe in your criteria, in your maybe capability, is able to match between what you have and this position or this status in the Day of Judgment. But you are being requesting to ask Allah for this, meaning here that you have to work in your life, inshallah, to be among those who they are able to have this status. So from that point, inshallah, I'm asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the energy and the power, the trust, the belief, the knowledge, to be able to match and to fit in our situation. I'm calling upon our Muslim Ummah, scholars especially, to not separate between their titles, their diplomas, their certificate, and their Muslims people concerned. They have to activate, they have to put everything they have learned in their life, through their maybe academic life, through the experience and expertise, put it at the service of this ummah, inshallah ta'ala, to make it one ummah. If something happened in Yemen, we still feeling the pain of those that are still being subject to mass killing, torturing. We are still have the same pain what is going on in Syria, between Muslims among themselves, between Muslims and the government. We are asking the Muslim scholars, asking the Muslim Syrian people to get together, get united for one goal. We should not be those who they are be able to be deceived by others. Our goal is so high. The sins of our goal is so high because we are connecting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our goal is not just to have pleasant living, to have decent life, to eat and drink, and that's it. Our mission in this life to activate the mission and the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be the extension of this great assignment Allah gave to Sayyidina Adam in the first stage in this life, إِنِّي جَعْلُ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. To continue this mission, inshallah ta'ala, we have to understand our Islamic law, we have to understand our book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then to go from understanding to work, to practice this, inshallah azza wa jal. So I'm just taking this few minutes from our program just to give a message to everyone has opportunity to go live in any channel, in any satellite, to take a minute from his program, regardless of that program, even sport program. He has to take minutes from that program to share Muslim Ummah and its concern, inshallah ta'ala. Maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by our maybe humble request, our maybe humble supplication to him, maybe because of some maybe sincerity of someone, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would change our situation to be in the best situation, to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first, and then to look forward, to have this kind of dream coming through, inshallah azza wa jal, in a very short period of time, inshallah azza wa jal.
Inshallah. You talked about the role of the scholars, but how about the role of the average brother and sister who's watching us? What can they do? I mean, basically, most of us are just viewers. We watch the news, we see the killings, we share, the videos on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter. We feel sorry, we say la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, but what can we actually do? Is there something that we can actually do in order to help the situation of the Muslims?
Yes, as you said, first of all, the concern has to be there in our mind and our heart. We should not fake ourselves. We should not be just like a 1 minute or 1 hour maybe concern ummah. We have to make it as part of our program, has to be part of our maybe plan in our life. We have to feed our kids, our children at home. Look, my children, Egyptian children, Egyptian maybe adult, Syrian children, Palestinian, Moroccan, every kind of Muslim in Nigeria, in Africa, in Britain, in France, in United States of America. We have to feed our children that look what is going on to your Muslim brothers and sisters here and there. You have to feel that. We should not take our children away from this, because the Sahaba, they were giving this kind of education, this kind of philosophy in their life. So they were very up to the task and up to the minute in their thinking, in their understanding, even in their maybe preparation to share in this. Always remember Rafi ibn Khadij was Samrat ibn Jundub, when he was these two kind of kids, they were fighting each other and competing with each other, racing each other, just who is going to be with the Prophet ﷺ in this battlefield at the very young age, the age where many children, Muslim children, unfortunately, their concern is different. Their value of dreams are different. Thinking about maybe going to Disneyland, going to some other maybe places and eating this kind of chocolate, this maybe cake, and having this snack or this maybe funny meal. We have to change our attitude, our mentality, how to educate our children, inshallah ta'ala. And then after that, how to activate this concern and this education, sometimes donating, sometimes making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sometimes having the whole family together. Let us read some Quran Kareem, inshallah ta'ala, for the intention of having some relief on our Muslim brothers here or there, inshallah azza wa jal. And sometimes maybe going, demonstrate in some places, exposing our feelings, exposing our pain, exposing our deep concern about what's going on in some areas in the Muslim world. Many tools and many maybe way to activate our concern, our maybe deep feelings about what is going on in the Muslim world. And maybe, hopefully, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He knows, Azza wa Jal, as we've been requested to be one ummah, one body, as the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam taught us and recommended us to be one body. If any part of that body have the pain, the whole body will share in this pain. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy in those that they are suffering and struggling. Ameen. Right now, in this minute, in this moment, men, women, children. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so strong, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so merciful. I ask Him subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our supplication, inshallah.
Ameen. Dr. Saie is saying basically that we should, as Muslim viewers, as Muslim youth, as brothers and sisters living anywhere in the world, we should be concerned about the Muslim Ummah. We should think about what's going on, we should care, and also we should act. Think, care, and act. This is Dr. Saie's message to all of us, a message especially to the scholars, and a message also to me and you and to everyone who's watching us tonight. You can join us in this discussion by calling us on our phone number at 002 02 38 555 248 or 249. Inshallah, we'd love to have your comments and have you share with us your questions and your comments about the topics that we're talking about today. Today's topic is something absolutely different from the introduction that Dr. Saie talked about, but it is also something of great relevance to us. And as Dr. Saie said, because we're dealing with a lot of issues in the Muslim world, we should be concerned about them, but at the same time we should not forget about the daily fiqh issues, the daily struggles, daily decisions, and daily feelings that we have as Muslims. And one of these issues is the issue of plastic surgery. Issue of plastic surgery, is it something that is not only halal or haram, but where does it come from? We're going to talk about that a lot more in the second segment of this program with Dr. Saie. We'll be right back, inshallah.
Which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures, He chose us to be high.
As everyone knows, today Arabic is considered as very important, very significant language. How can we produce the sound the state of voicing, place of articulation, and manner of articulation. So in Arabic, the words which are written are pronounced.
We will learn how to write and pronounce Arabic letters correctly in depth. Explanation via board and presentation with many other important factors.
We have today more than 300 million people speak Arabic language. Not only in the Middle East, but you can find a lot of people speak Arabic language in Asia, Europe, North America, and in South America.
What are you waiting for? Grab your notebook and pencil and stay tuned for Learn Arabic at Huda TV.
The main concepts of Islamic economics, how is it different from the Western theories?
And the beauty about Islam is not that it just came as a religion to perfect the relationship of the servant of Allah with Allah, but also it came to perfect the relationship of the servant of Allah with others. The beauty about Islam, Islam comes and brings the interest of the public and the interest of the individual together.
How is Islamic banking different from the traditional banking system?
The concept of riba is that I lend you money, I give you a loan, in return they give me back that loan with an extra at the top.
The idea of the stock market itself is halal or haram.
So these are the main conditions that the scholars put with regards of the share market.
Which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures, He chose us to be high.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to our program, Islamic Law Today. We are talking with Professor Saie about the issue of plastic surgery. Plastic surgery is an issue that many sisters, especially in the Muslim world, struggle with, especially at a younger age. But also brothers struggle with this issue. Maybe some of these procedures are halal, some of them are haram. We need to get a deeper understanding of what plastic surgery is all about. Before we talk to Dr. Saie on the fiqh issues relating to this, we'd like to go to a report to give you some background information of what kind of plastic surgeries are out there.
Which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures, He chose us to be high.
With passing time, the urge to become beautiful is increasing in everyone's life. Is the requirement just in our heads, or is it truly needed? People want to change the size of their stomachs, breasts, or other body parts because they see it done so easily on TV. Those are common images of plastic surgery. But what about the 4-year-old boy who had his chin rebuilt after a dog bit him? Or the young woman who had her birthmark on her forehead lightened with a laser? Plastic surgeons strive to improve patients' appearance and self-image through both reconstructive and cosmetic procedures. Reconstructive procedures correct defects on the face or body. These include physical birth defects like cleft lips and palates and ear deformities, traumatic injuries like those from dog bites or burns, or the aftermath of disease treatments, like rebuilding a woman's breasts after surgery for breast cancer. Cosmetic procedures alter a part of the body that the person is not satisfied with. Some people turn to plastic surgery to correct a physical defect or to alter a part of the body that makes them feel uncomfortable. Other people decide they want a cosmetic change because they're not happy about the way they look. Common cosmetic procedures include making the breasts larger, or augmentation mammoplasty, or smaller reduction mammoplasty, reshaping the nose, or rhinoplasty, and removing pockets of fat from specific spots on the body, or liposuction. Some cosmetic procedures aren't even surgical in the way that most people think of surgery, that is, cutting and stitching. For example, the use of special lasers to remove unwanted hair and sanding skin to improve severe scarring are two such treatments. This is why we need to know the Islamic law point of view concerning these issues.
Which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures, He chose us to be high.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear brothers and sisters, welcome back. Dr. Naeem, the question that comes to a lot of people's minds, isn't plastic surgery a part of everyday life? And what does it really have to do with Islam? Why would Islam have an opinion? Isn't this something kind of medical?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Let us start inshallah ta'ala by giving the story of this issue. Before we go deeper in Islamic law issues regarding this topic, the plastic surgeries, regardless of its sections, is it like reconstructive or maybe cosmetics or lawful and unlawful, we have to, I think it's good to go deeper and try to get to the origin of this issue. If we go back to that moment where people most likely don't recall unless you remind them, because they did not have the chance to be there. When Iblis was receiving commandment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make sujood to Adam, and this was a new order from Allah to Iblis, very unprepared maybe assignment to him, because he was so busy, Iblis at that time, with this kind of status he did occupied for many years. We don't know how many years he spent having this position and this title and this diploma of being the head of the whole angels, the head of all those that were showing real worshipping to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was shocked, to be very specific, with this order. Who are these creations of God? Who is this a new guest in his kingdom to be better than him, comparing with the commandment he received from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? He was ordered and commanded by Allah to make sujood. And Iblis at that moment, he did not think about the order. He did not think about the one who issued the order. He was thinking about the frame, the shape of that order. So he disconnected himself from the meanings of the order, from the issuer of this order, and he kept focusing on the materialistic, maybe frame or criteria of this order. So he was thinking about making sujood to someone he did not look like him, and he knew what that new creation was coming from. He came from mud, and he came from fire. To his very quick calculations, materialistically, he came to this result: I am better than him. I shouldn't make sujood to someone who is less than me. So he made very quick calculation, very quick judgment, because this is the job of the soul. When the soul is so influential, is able to cover over the mind and over the reality, and to disregard and take away all the facts and let the judgment be according to what is going to please and satisfy this desire, the soul and nafs. So by this very quick calculation and quick judgment, he came up with this decision. He refused. he came to the result of rejection, the rejection of the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he turned himself right away from being the head of angels, head of those that they are worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be the first one in the kingdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reject the order of the Creator subhanahu wa ta'ala.
So that is based on his materialistic vision. He saw, that materially he's better than Adam. And
Yes.
that's what caused him to do this.
Yes, after all this quick judgment and all this fake analysis from his soul, not from his mind. And we have to remind here our viewers, this story of Iblis and Adam, we did read, and we are still reading it in the Quran al-Kareem.
So are we following the same trap as Iblis?
Yes, so what I want to say that for our beloved viewers and audience and listeners, we should always take this story and put it in its right place in our library, in our mind, in our heart, in our soul, because I can claim that the deep philosophy and deep studying of this story have had a very influential effect on the whole mankind from that moment to the day of judgment. And the moment we are disregarding some of these meanings, we are just always to be very easy and very simply subject to the same trap of the shaitan he did trap himself into. So if we think about the story of Iblis and Adam, when he rejected the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because he found himself materialistically by this quick judgment, not by his mind, because he has a mind, he has a tool to think, to judge things in the right way. And this is the job of your mind and my mind and the mind of everyone. And as a fact, because Muslim scholars, they have very advanced analysis and thinking and understanding. Long time ago they said, this mind, whatever that mind now maybe biologically are saying that it's in that brain. Brain is the source of all this judgment. Regardless of this kind of maybe new advanced medical sciences and discoveries, but they talk about mind as a tool of judging things. They said mind being created to be very fair and very sincere and very neutral. You cannot imagine that someone does have a mind to give his mind the assignment to judge things in this life, but to be fair and sincere and neutral. Now, by saying this, you have an answer for someone objecting this not theory, it's a fact, by questioning you, how could you match between what you are saying right now and seeing people, they are very genius, very knowledgeable people, they have reached the level of being scientists, maybe they have earned Nobel prizes for many fields they were in, but they are not believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or they believe like in three entities. Maybe they believe in cows, maybe they believe in fire, maybe they believe in sun, maybe they rejected anything to believe in, atheist. So how could you match between what you are saying and having these real characters in our life, and you cannot say that these people are not genius, are not knowledgeable, they are genius and knowledgeable. The answer for this, by just one verse of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this again and again prove that our Islam, by all its sources, it is very advanced. Not just a religion, not just Islamic law to organize your life. It's, as I said, miracle of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be continuing, showing and exposing is science every day, every night, as Allah says subhanahu wa ta'ala, سنريهم آياتنا في الآفاق وفي أنفسهم. The answer of all these questions by one verse of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us what is this dialogue going on in the hellfire in the Day of Judgment among those they have lost their original maybe mission and responsibility in this life, and they are in the hellfire right now, as the verses is giving you the impression of their situation. They are saying وَقَالُوا لَوْ كُنَّا نَسْمَعُ أَوْ نَعْقِلُ مَا كُنَّا فِي أَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ. If we were among those who they have the hearing, the mind, to use this sense, this big bounty from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wouldn't be in this place. Unfortunately, the meaning of this ayah, meaning here, we did not use our hearing, we did not use our mind. We just restored them and let our soul, our desire, to be the judge of the big issues in this life, including, and first of all, the issue of believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and believing in Him as a one God, one Creator subhanahu wa ta'ala. So from that point, Iblis was doing the same thing. Iblis has restored his mind, restored all the fact he was exposed to by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he was watching, he was experiencing something we can even imagine in our very limited mind, in our life. How much Iblis was able to be having that access to many miracles, to many signs, many things showing him that Allah is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That way he was the head of all these worshippers at that time before rejected the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But all of a sudden, one moment of his life, he restored his mind, his hearing, his knowledge, his everything, and let his soul to judge the thing, to judge the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he came up with this result by saying, أنا خير منه خلقتني من نار وخلقته من طين. I am better than him. Simply, you have created me from fire and you created him from mud. Simply, physically, from chemical point of view, medical point of view, biological point of view, scientific point of view, I am better than him because fire is stronger than mud, so I am better than him. So I am rejecting your order, oh my Lord, because still believing in him as a Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala, because وَعِزَّتِكَ, he was sworn by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we have to notice this. Iblis did not rejected him subhanahu wa ta'ala. Iblis rejected the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So by his very stupid judgment, he came out with this result to say, I am better than him. This is the beginning of the story of plastic surgeries between forbidden dream and lawful solution.
So plastic surgery and shaitan have a lot in common.
This is just the beginning.
It's just the beginning.
Now, if you go further and further now, what could you take from that story to make it as introduction to the plastic surgeries, so we are able to understand in a very clear view, very clear and open mind, what is the reality of plastic surgeries, before we go and try to put it in order and organize this issue to make it a section of lawful and unlawful. Because sometimes when you tell people it's forbidden, it's prohibited, it's unlawful, you have some people, they will listen to you because they believe in you, or they believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Messenger alayhi salam, most likely inshallah ta'ala, and didn't have any problem of just having your fatwa and just practice it. But we are in a modern life right now, has been very busy with many distractions, many factors coming from everywhere, to just oppose and object what you have in your mind, the message you are trying to give to the people. So it's better now, before we say it's haram or halal, lawful and unlawful, to give this kind of introduction, not just only for Muslims, because those that they are having sometimes disasters and tragedies in their life, they are not just Muslims. So they don't understand the nature of their maybe life, nature of their mission, nature of their existing in this life. They are not just Muslims.
It's all
It's
human.
all, the whole mankind. So our nature or message, nature of our deen or Islam, regardless of our maybe position or maybe profession, we have always to extend our hand to everyone, right?
Yes.
So as a Muslim, you live in the United States of America, you cannot say that I'm good for my Muslim people only. You have to be good for everyone.
Yes.
If you are being commanded to be good for even animals, to be good for trees and rivers and everything, living or non-living things around you, how you cannot be good for human beings? Unfortunately, they are not Muslims yet, but they have a right upon you to extend your hand and open the doors, windows for them to understand our Islam, because our Islam by itself is a message to the whole mankind, is da'wah ila Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
As Dr. Saie is saying, the goal of this program is not to simply say that any issue that we're talking about is halal or haram, but to actually understand the origin of it, and understand why, and how it came about that this issue existed in the first place, and how we can deal with it, inshallah. We'll talk a lot more about these issues, and we'll read some of your comments. Today's discussion in the third segment, inshallah. We'll see you in a moment.
Which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures, He chose us to be high.
Ask Hoda.
Dear brothers and sisters, welcome to a new edition of Ask Huda.
I have two questions.
Please go ahead. You can read it in Arabic, and you can also understand the meaning in your own language. The different tafsir and the interpretation of the meanings of the Quran are available in almost every language that exists on earth by the grace of Allah. The water of Zamzam is for whatever intention you drink it with. Salih from Egypt, his father has the way, and he asked about how can he help him. Very good question.
Can they give a zakat to any of the dawah centers?
The ibadah or the act of worship is a part of the unity of worship. It has to be paid to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and in accordance with the guidance of His Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Brothers and sisters, in particular brothers, husbands, divorce is the last resort.
Even when I was given the topic, the art of divorce, I was thinking, why are we talking about a divorce?
As they say in management, do you take serious decisions when you are angry? No one is taking a very serious decision in his life, maybe in his business, while you are angry.
A divorce happening every 6 minutes.
We are not talking about enjoying the divorce, but we are talking about certain steps to be followed in order to avoid divorce or minimize the possibility of divorce or minimize the consequences of divorce. Any divorce taking place have many ill effects. So we would like to minimize those ill effects.
Which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures, He chose us to be high.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to our program, Islamic Law Today. You can join us in this interesting discussion about plastic surgery with Dr. Naeem Saie, and you can call us on this number 002 02 38 555 248 or 249. And joining us from Egypt is Qaddafi. Qaddafi, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to welcome our visitor. He's highly welcome. I have like 3 questions. I'm a medical student, so I don't know, maybe one day I may become a plastic surgeon. So is there any books, recommended Islamic books, that somebody can go and check so that he can go by the rules and regulations that are governed in Islamic? My second question is that what if a plastic surgeon knows that this is haram and he did do the surgery? Is there any punishment that is restricted for that person? And the last question is that when a woman did cosmetic surgery to please her husband, so what is this halal or haram in Islam? So this is my question.
Okay, Jazakallah khairan, Qaddafi. Professor Saie, Qaddafi has 3 questions. The first question that he's asking, he's looking for, as a medical student, he's looking for an Islamic reference to the topic that we're talking about today.
Our book, inshallah, الجامع في القواعد والضوابط الفقهية.
Professor Saie's book, inshallah, will try to give you more information about it in the next episode, inshallah. He talks in great detail about this subject, and inshallah will be a benefit to you. The second question he had...
Now, let me just enlighten him about the book.
Sure.
The book of name is, title is الجامع في القواعد والضوابط الفقهية. And in that book, in the first volume, I did talk about the plastic surgeries in details. What is the Islamic law, rule, does orchestrate this very important issue, inshallah ta'ala. And you could find answers for all your questions you have just asked in that book. That book, unfortunately, is still in Arabic language, but if you have that book and you have my phone number, you could call me, inshallah ta'ala. I could assist you in some of the meanings of this book, inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah ta'ala. The second question he has is for the person who is actually doing the plastic surgeries, the plastic surgeon. If the surgery that he's doing is haram, would he be punished?
Very simply, inshallah ta'ala. After we finish the next episode talking about what is lawful, what is unlawful, and just as a very quick benefit here, sometimes you cannot find one of these surgery under a definite lawful or under definite unlawful, sometimes in between. But just generally speaking, if we are saying that this is a lawful and this is unlawful, anything that's go under the section of lawful surgery, it is lawful for the plastic surgeon to operate and to take his fees for that surgery. And if we say that this is unlawful, definitely unlawful, it is forbidden and prohibited for any surgeon to operate and do this surgery. And he will be sharing the sin of this surgery, not just for a moment he did operate this, but for lifetime, unless he fixed the problem or he did, and he make tawbah to Allah by just sometimes maybe rejecting this request or maybe fixing the mistake he did. And we'll talk about this in details in the next episode, inshallah ta'ala. But this is like generally answer that. Whatever is like lawful for people to do surgery, it's lawful for surgeon to do a surgery. Unlawful for people to do surgery, it's unlawful for surgeon to do a surgery.
Inshallah.
Yes.
We have Haytham join us from Nigeria. Haytham, assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Go ahead, sister.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. My question is about plastic surgery. If a woman
Go ahead,
wants
sister.
to repair her body shape after childbirth, is it lawful or is it unlawful? Just to please her husband.
Okay, Jazakallah khairan, sister. Inshallah, we'll answer your question. We have 2 questions that are interlinked. The third question from Brother Qaddafi and the question from Sister Haytham, talking about doing it for maybe not to please oneself, but to please a spouse or to please a partner.
Coming very soon to this program, inshallah ta'ala. The answer for all these questions, if you have just some patient brother and sister, inshallah ta'ala, because we are just introducing to you the subject in a deep way, inshallah azza wa jal, all these questions will be answered, inshallah ta'ala, after we go to the second episode, inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah.
We'll talk about what is the frame, what is the rule of saying this is lawful and lawful, Does it make it lawful if our intention is good to please our husband, to please maybe our father, to please from our people? President, he would like to please his people because he looks very ugly after maybe a certain incident, so he'd like to appear good. Is it okay or not okay? Is it lawful and lawful? That will come inshallah ta'ala in the next episode inshallah. Just to give you some maybe eagerness to follow us in the next episode
inshallah. Obviously this issue of plastic surgery is a subject that is going to take us more than one episode, and Dr. Saie is with us inshallah to talk about it not only today but inshallah next week, and let's see how many episodes it's going to take. And obviously we have a lot of questions, and the more questions that we have shows that we as Muslims are trying to follow the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're trying to seek what is lawful and what is unlawful. But at the same time, as Professor Saie said, we're not here just to simply say that this is haram or this is halal without delving deeper into the issues and understanding the origins of the issue that we're talking about. And continuing on that is the origin of the story of plastic surgery, as we said, has something to do with Shaitan and Adam. So I'd like you to continue on the story inshallah.
Now this is like one meaning of the story of Iblis, and he became later on Shaitan. He was not Shaitan before he rejected the order of Allah. He was Iblis, illa Iblisa Aba. So Allah named him by his original name, by his original maybe title, before he rejected the order of Allah.
So there's a difference between Iblis and Shaitan, because we use them as synonyms in our everyday lives.
Just as you are trying to organize the history of this very cursed, creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have to say that he was given that name, Iblis. Then after he rejected the order of Allah, he became the symbol of Shaitan. Shaitan in Arabic language most likely comes from shatat, when someone is going extremely away from the right path. Shatata and shatat, Shaitan, most likely, according to the linguistic,
he's diverting off the path.
Yes. So Iblis at that time, because he rejected the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we said, that he judged the things through his soul, not through his mind, and through the facts he have collected, all his experience, being the very renowned worshipper to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he came up with this result. Now, he exposed something he was maybe invisible in him. And we can see that maybe everyone Allah created subhanahu wa ta'ala does have negative characteristics and positive characteristics. And sometimes by many factors, you are in a shape or in a stage to expose your positive characteristics, good things coming out of you, and sometimes by many factors you are exposing your negative one. You are at home, right? Mm-hmm. You are a very good husband, good father, and you are exposing your good behavior, good manners, because you have factors of this. Everyone is cooperating with you to enhance your goodness, enhance your manners, to be a good father and good husband. But sometimes you are subject to the opposite factors. Some factors to cover your good things and to try to expose your negative and bad things. And here comes the issue of patience, the issue of being so tolerant to the bad factors or negative factors, how to tolerate these factors and to try to come up over it. But sometimes you are not that person, you failed, so you are a failure. So you are exposing your bad things. But can we say that this what happened was with Iblis, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put a factor to expose his negative things? No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never, subhanahu wa ta'ala, by his nature as God subhanahu wa ta'ala, to to provoke you, to bring the bad things out of you. Allah might test you, examine you. But people, creatures, they have this kind of character, or these characteristics, or this maybe manner to expose your negative things. Your friend, your brother, your sister, your wife, your maybe partner in your company. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never subhanahu wa ta'ala to provoke you, to bring the bad things out of you.
So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never provoke you to bring the bad things out of you, but the creation is where the problem exists.
Subhanallah.
Subhanallah. Inshallah, we'll leave it at that. This is such an interesting topic. Time flew by. Subhanallah, time flew by this episode. As we said, inshallah, we're going to take a lot more talking about this subject, and hopefully, inshallah, next time we'll go deeper into the issue, even deeper. We're just scratching the surface. So inshallah, next week we're going to go a lot deeper into the issue of plastic surgery. I want to thank all of you for joining us here tonight, and inshallah we'll see you next week. Jazakumullahu khairan, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures He chose us to be high. To Him we belong, to Him is our return. Life in this world is only a sojourn. To the angels He commanded that man be respected. Shaitan he did not, and so was he rejected. Compared to the angels, we are but clay. As long as Allah we obey, we'll not go astray. As the best of His creation, only us did He deem. This for us is honor, this high esteem. His qudrat it is that cause winds to blow. He gives us provision so that we may grow.